10 mind tricks to learn anything fast. After a many draughts of important coffee and reading the same chapter over and over again, you find yourself dozing off and decide to shut your eyes for a many twinkles. But to your horror, you wake up and see that you have slept for the whole night, and you didn't indeed make progress with that chapter you kept on reading. Ah, fret not. You are no way alone in this kind of situation. Other scholars have worse dilemma like not being suitable to concentrate, or can effectively army effects inside their head. There are plenty other of issues. It's horrendous. Learning a new conception takes time and fidelity, but do you wish there was an easier way to get the hang of it? While cramming the subject doesn't work in the long term, following good and effective literacy practices helps you pick it up a little hastily. We'll start with strategies for studying and reviewing generalities and move on to some life changes you can make so you flashback effects more. Learning new effects is a huge part of life. We should always be seeking to grow and learn a new skill. Whether you are learning Spanish or want to do calculation presto, it takes time to learn each assignment, and time is precious. So how can you make the utmost of your time by speeding up the literacy process? Thanks to neuroscience, we now have a better understanding of how we learn and the most effective ways our smarts process and hold on to information. 1. The sleep sandwich. Imagine you have an important donation and only one day to prepare. This is the reason why scientists recommend the sleep sandwich rather of one long study. In the session, you should study, sleep, and also study some further. The sleep sandwich is an excellent way to learn briskly because sleep helps you retain further information. In fact, storing recollections is one of the most important functions of a good night's sleep while your conscious goes to bed. Your unconscious is laboriously storing all kinds of stuff in your long-term memory. But when you pull an each-nighter, you are precluding your brain from actually learning and retaining those recollections. Not to mention, you are hurting your brain's overall performance. Frazzle leaves your brain feeling foggy, slow, and unproductive. So come on, do not bother studying until 400 in the morning. However, study for many hours and get a good night's sleep if you need to squeeze in some last nanosecond literacy. 2. Edge the axe. Give me 6 hours to hash down a tree, and I'll spend the first 4 stropping the dismissal. This is a quotation that is attributed to Abraham Lincoln, and he is talking about the power of medication. And when it comes to literacy, good medication is essential. Let's say we are trying to learn commodity, like the guitar or a new sport. We should spend a decent quantum of time figuring out the meta-learning behind what we are actually going to learn before we do anything differently. In other words, we need to work out how we are actually going to learn the thing. Seems egregious, but we infrequently consider it. 3. Writing down what you've learned helps cement it in your mind. If you want to restate information to knowledge, exploration suggests you should be writing down what you learned by hand. 2014 study set up that scholars who took notes on pen and paper learned further than scholars who compartmented notes on their laptops. Over a battery of tests, the pen and paper group were more complete at flashing back data, sorting out complex ideas, and synthesizing information. Experimenters say the physical act of touching pen to paper creates a stronger cognitive link to the material than simply codifying, which happens far too snappily for retention to take place. Writing forces you to defy ideas head-on, which leads them to stick with you over time. 4. System beats hours. When it comes to learning commodity new, the system will always beat the number of hours you put into commodity. This isn't to say that the number of hours isn't important, but you should choose which system will give you the stylish results. For illustration, let's say 2 people were driving from Boston to New York City. It doesn't count how professed or committed the first motorist is. However, the first motorist will lose if he's driving a beat up volley truck and the alternate motorist has a Ferrari. Your system is the vehicle that will come the machine of where you want to go. With anything you want to learn, there will be dozens of available styles to follow and experts to learn from. This means that you want to spend a lot of time understanding who you are learning from, what credibility they have, and how it fits with your literacy style. 5. Apply the 80 and 20 rule. As an anthology of life hack, you've presumably heard of Pareto's Law. It's a conception developed by Italian economist Vilfredo Pareto, which explains that 80 of your asked labors will come from only 20 of your inputs. 20 of people in your life will lead to 80 of your happiness. 20 of your guests will drive 80 of your deals. 20 of your literacy styles will lead to 80 of your results. When it comes to literacy, it feels like there's so much we don't know, so it's easy to jump around far and wide. This will only lead to wasted time. What you want to do is concentrate on the 1 or 2 effects that will drive the needle for what you want to achieve and double down on them. For illustration, if you are learning Spanish to travel this summer, rather of learning how to write or read, you should learn how to speak Spanish, or rather of trying to please a displeased client that's only paying you $37 a month. You should add 10 times further value to a client that's paying you $0 a month. 6. Educate yourself. Learn as if you're tutoring yourself a new skill. When reading a book, for illustration, let the mind suppose that you're reading the book to yourself. For some people, reading out loud is the way to get that sense of tutoring themselves. Others have conversations with themselves in the mind. Imagine that you're tutoring someone, yourself, and you'll learn at an important faster pace. This has commodity to do with the anticipation you set yourself when you educate. According to a study by Washington University, that need to educate heightens your brain's capability to absorb and bear information. 7. Manage energy, not time. Don't bother with time operation. Manage your energy. First effects first, it doesn't really count how important time you spend learning. Set it. Pulling in each nighter before your examinations. Sharing in a 12-hour YouTube study with me session, or starring at your books long after night, aren't just gratuitous. They laboriously sabotage your progress. Sure, you need to invest time to learn a new skill, but indeed more importantly, you need to invest energy. Suppose of energy as the most applicable resource in your literacy bid. Your brain's capability to grasp new generalities or to come up with new ideas doesn't so important hinge on the time you spent on taking notes, but on your state of mind and available energy while doing so. And energy is a finite resource. It helps to imagine your energy situations as commodity analogous to your bank account. You have got a certain quantum in there, hopefully, and perhaps also some allowance for recessions beyond that. But at some point, you'll have to recharge effects or you will run out of room. 8. How to learn faster elaborative trial. We generally suppose about trial as just repeating information over and over again in order to learn it. This is known as rote literacy. For illustration, repeating the integers of a phone number until we telephone it. Rote literacy is effective when the thing is to learn information for a short period of time. Elaborative trial, on the other hand, works by making liaison between the new information you are trying to learn and the information you formerly know. Elaborative trial is a fashion for literacy material and helps in retaining it in long-term memory. It allows your brain to grasp the material more deeply by understanding the meaning of every piece of information and answers how to study presto. For illustration, rather of verbally repeating the events from a rebellion in your history book again and again and trying to study it, try understanding the whole story. Know further about the characters involved, and also retain the information. 9. Exercise interlinking ideas. Insolvable, you say? Suppose about this. Every little thing around us is related. Different generalities are like a beachfront in a web. And the web? Well, it's that connected generalities that you know about, working in accord to fulfill a purpose, to get your thing. 10. Quiz yourself so you see what motifs you still need to review. After you have read through or rehearsed commodity, test your memory by reciting everything you just learned. However, try writing down their delineations without looking them up. If you need to flash back keywords or expressions, make note of what you have trouble flashing back so you can go back and exercise it some further. That way, you aren't wasting time fastening on effects you formerly know well. For illustration, if you are testing yourself on a text chapter, epitomize everything that happened in your own words. Also check for any keywords at the end of the chapter and try to define them. You can also find numerous practice tests online for the subject you are studying. So this is all for today's video. Do not forget to like, share, and subscribe. Turn on the notification bell so that you get notified. Also let us know your thoughts and comments. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in next one.